Hello and welcome back to our channel. It's been a little while since we last spoke to you, but we want to take a moment and give you a nice update, very nice, about what's been going on in our studio, what's going on in our lives, things we're into. And I think we're hoping to make this a little bit more of an ongoing format. So you can think of this as the first episode of a new ongoing series. We're just kind of like,
Hang out with us.
Hang out with us. That's
Pretty
what it's
much.
called now.
Yeah.
So we're going to divide it into 3 fun sections. The first one, we're going to chat a bit about just like what's going on in our lives recently. Then we're going to do more of a little in-depth look at a single topic and chat with you about it. And then the final round is a little bit more of a fun Q&A style thing. So I hope you enjoy this. But yeah, before we get started, is there anything
I want to share?
you want to share, your hopes and dreams for this new series?
Well, no hopes and dreams, but my first observations are that my hair is much longer and your facial hair is much shorter.
Dun dun dun!
So there we go.
Which is actually one of the questions that you submitted on Instagram, looking at you, Daniel. So yeah, got rid of the mustache.
How are you feeling about it?
I don't think I'll get rid of it again. We're, just working back up to it now.
Yes.
So, yeah. But I think without further ado,
Yeah.
or what did you have to say?
Oh, it was a fun process. We can show a behind the scenes photo.
Here you go. All right, so without further ado, let's get into our first section. What's happening? So Becca, what's happening?
What's happening? My goodness. Well, I will say that even with the ongoing situation in the world, I think this year has been treating us pretty good in terms of work. So we've had the opportunity to work
Much better than last year.
much better than last year. But I think the really interesting thing is that we've really dove into like some really fun, interesting, and challenging video projects. And I feel like I've been on a lot more hands-on with those because you've sort of been passing off some of the like still fun but not maybe like as technically advanced video editing projects. So I've been able to put my spin on like a few different client videos ranging from glass art pieces to a local pajama brand, and that's just been really fun for me. And we're shooting photography a little bit, but it's definitely not as prevalent right now, but that's okay because it's like giving me more time to do like video editing and like work on our blog and stuff like that. So
I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons we haven't had as many videos coming out on this channel and they've been a little more spaced out is because honestly, we're just like editing videos every day and kind of like releasing client videos several times a week. So then to go in and like edit a really complicated video for our channel can be a little challenging, but there are more coming and we have a bunch filmed that we're working on and you're listening to us now.
Yeah.
But I've been really excited too. Yeah, working on a lot of video projects. And I think when we were doing like video in past years, we do this kind of like very sort of moody documentary kind of style video. And lately we've been able to really like amp it up, do cooler edits, more interesting effects, kind of some visual effects in there. So it's been really fun for me working on all that stuff.
And I think like the cool thing is that a lot of the video projects that we've worked on this year and a little bit last year was that they all kind of came from someone like in our community.
Yeah.
Like I think of like the Imaware video we did with Kaylee, the Health Kit video through our friend Viv, and like, I don't know, there's just so much. And so it's been really great to have friends and people who have become friends kind of reach out to us and put trust in us and faith to create these like video projects, and like you've been able to really amp up your After Effects and you've learned so much in regard to that. And sort of moving, I think we still enjoy doing those sort of documentary style videos where we're sharing like a story or a message from a company, so they have like a talking head and then a lot of B-roll and emotional music to support that. But it's nice to kind of put your own creative spin on something that is like promoting a product instead as well.
That's for sure. And we've been able to kind of like pitch concepts a lot more as well, which in the past we haven't really done. So that's been really fun, and that's honestly what's been keeping us mostly busy. The other exciting thing we did recently was we gave a series of talks to our alma mater. Is that what you call it? The school we graduated from, which is Ryerson's
It sounds like such an American thing.
Image Arts program. And essentially we spoke to 3 different classes of second year photography students
Production students.
about transitioning from like doing video work as a photographer and kind of like moving into video
Yeah,
if
the
you're only doing
on-location
photos.
video,
Yeah. So we did like an hour and a half talk. How do you think it went? Or we did 3 hour and a half talks.
I think it was really good. Like, I feel like it was kind of the first time. You've done a few more talks in front of students than I have. It was my first time. So to kind of really lay out the whole journey that I had a little bit in university, but then graduating from university and the connections that I established that kind of helped get me where I am today, and then us working together was like a really awesome opportunity to reflect on that and share that with younger students. Just because, like, I don't always have like the most confidence in myself, and I kind of lean into that vulnerability like aspect of being like a creative or trying new things, and I just really enjoyed being able to share that part of my life and my story and the developments that I've made in the past year. So it was really fun.
So yeah, I think we're going to get into it a little bit later in this video. So stick around if you want to know a bit more about that. And especially talking about like why as a photographer you should consider getting into video. But I really enjoyed it too. It was also kind of cool or weird. You know, we don't work at a big organization, so we haven't been quite in the whole like Zoom world, I think, as a lot of people have.
I was thinking
So
about that.
talking to the students through Zoom and seeing everyone's boxes and like what's going on in their lives for like the couple people that have their cameras on. It was like a very interesting experience, and I feel like we got a little taste of what so many of you are going through on a daily basis.
I also loved that in the second presentation that we did, there was that like one Keener student who was like very active in the chat and like serving up links and like sharing opinions, because otherwise the chat was like kind of quiet, and just reminded me of like being in university.
But honestly, that's so important. Like if someone comes and talks to your school, you should be the person kind of like throwing questions and like getting them to answer your specific personal questions, right? Because like everyone benefits from the talk, but it's so hard to kind of give specific advice. So usually people are just quiet, and it's like you have this free opportunity to get this amazing advice. So really try to take advantage of it if you find yourself in that world.
It's a free house, Charles.
Yeah, free house. So the other big thing that's been going on in our studio is trying to figure out what camera gear to switch over to. So, you know, we've been shooting on our cameras for a few years now.
A long time.
A longer time with the photo gear and like the video cameras a few years.
Yeah.
So a lot of equipment has come out in the last half a year, let's say.
goodness.
And there's been a lot of talk about like what system to go to, what camera to buy. So earlier today, I finally decided, like I went for it and bought the new equipment, but I'm not going to tell you what system we got. We're transitioning away from Canon. We're transitioning away from Panasonic. We're completely getting rid of most of our gear and buying into a completely new system. And when that gear arrives, I'm going to make a video kind of unboxing it and also kind of sharing some of the reasons I decided to go with that system. So if you want to check that out, make sure you hit subscribe. And yeah,
Can you tell me what
we'll
it
go
is?
into a deep dive. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we might be going to pick it up either today or tomorrow, which is super exciting.
I'm excited.
And we also bought both like a photo and a video camera at the same time. So it was just very rare for us to make this like large purchase, but it just kind of made sense since we're switching systems to do everything at once.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea of maybe, you know, knowing the kind of work we do, what cameras we got, there's 2 cameras, please drop them down in the comments below. And, you know, maybe if you guess correctly or the first person to guess correctly, we can do a little one-on-one hangout consulting chat type thing for half an hour. I just made that up, so it's out there now.
Okay.
But yeah, drop them in the comments below, and you know, if you're not sure, just let us know what gear you're working on, what kind of work you're working on. Yeah. So I think that's like mostly it for what's been going on in our studio vibe, right?
Yeah, I mean, personally, we both got our first vaccination shot a couple of weeks ago, so feeling super excited about that. And
it's really important to go get vaccinated as soon as possible, no matter what vaccine you have access to. You know, this is the #1 way where we can kind of start rebuilding our life and honestly just make it a lot safer for the people that do have to go out there. You know, we're fairly lucky. Most of our time is spent in the office, but throughout this pandemic, we've had to go out on shoots and stuff as well to
Yeah.
kind of like every kind of location imaginable. So the more people that get vaccinated, the faster, the better it is for everyone, and the more people we can help by literally saving their life. So
Yeah.
if you have an opportunity to go get vaccinated, please do it. If you are able to take a photo and share it, I think that's also really important too in terms of people, you know, seeing you do it. So I don't think we should go in too much about this much longer, but yeah, go get vaccinated.
It helps out the vulnerable people as well, like me.
Awesome.
I just did this.
Nice. It's time
To
go
off
the deep end.
and
All right, so for this section, we're gonna take a quick deep dive on a single topic that, you know, we think would be helpful for you as a photographer, as a videographer, as a creative person living in 2021. And this topic is riffing a bit off of our Ryerson talk, which we thought, you know, we got a lot of great feedback, so we thought it would be helpful to share some of that advice with you. So the first thing we want to talk about is really just shooting video, and especially if you're a photographer or you're someone who's thinking about getting into video, should you do it? Is it worth it? And, you know, we won't go into too much detail about the process, but like why should people get into video? So yeah, why don't we start? You want to start with
I
me?
want to ask you, like, what was your, like, why did it make sense for you? Why did you want to do it? What was some of your first projects?
I think it's like interesting, you know, I like a lot of people, I guess like our age, when we were in high school and things, and around that time, you know, the kind of computer software to enable you to edit videos and photos and like early Photoshop was really starting to become like more of a thing. iMovie, right? I'm sure most of us use that. That was the first time we had a video.
Or Windows Movie Maker.
Windows Movie Maker, that's true. I made some slideshows on that.
Yeah, birthday slideshows.
So for me, like, that's literally the first thing I did in school, you know, and even like at home as a kid, we had a video recorder where I would make little stop frame kind of movies. But creativity in general was never part of my like upbringing in a big way. So I didn't know a lot of like videographers, photographers. So I got into photo because we got a photo camera, and we were like, my parents had a photo camera. I was able to use it. You know, video never seemed accessible. So to be honest, it wasn't even anywhere on my radar. Like when applying for school, that I could be like in video or
Right,
movies
yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah, you didn't have like a parent who was a director or
No.
something. Yeah.
It literally like never crossed my mind,
Right.
you know. And we had a photography class at school, for example. We didn't
Yeah.
have a video class. Like we had Comtech, but you
Yeah.
did sort of everything there.
Yeah.
So I think it just sort of like funneled me, which is very interesting how school, like by design, funnels you into these jobs, you know, sort of arbitrarily. But I mean, I love photography as well. And I think for me, I grew up watching a lot of online video. Like
Yeah.
my entire kind of like coming into adulthood was spent watching online video, web videos, even before YouTube existed. So more than anything, I just wanted to be like a part of it. I want to be a part of the internet. I want to be a part of making stuff for the internet. So that was kind of like on one side. And then on the other hand is like, as I started doing photography, and especially when I got like the Canon 5D Mark III, that camera was really the first time you can create like cinematic video.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, you know, once you have the tool and you like make one and you see it, it's actually pretty extraordinary. And I just wanted to do more of it. I think I wanted to like participate in the sort of like culture of online video. And it was just exciting to see a moving picture. So that was sort of my transition into it. It started pretty slow in terms of like getting commercial work, but I just started making videos from there, and more like personal videos. But yeah.
What was like, I was definitely kind of not part of the sort of like internet video culture as much as you were. Like, what was some of your earlier, like, what are some of the sites and stuff that you would check out on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think the main thing I watched was like Revision 3. It was like
okay.
a network, which Discovery eventually bought. So it was co-run or co-founded by Kevin Rose, and so even things like the Screensavers back in the day, which was on TV but kind of had that like tech aspect.
Okay.
And then Revision 3 started doing their own shows, and kind of like created essentially like a, not YouTube where anyone can upload, but like their own online platform, and they had different shows. A lot of it had to do with tech and basically things that like I was interested in, but they weren't talking about on TV, or there was no channel for it.
That's funny because I feel like that's like
Yeah.
we were just chatting last night. Like that's one of the reasons we love YouTube so much.
Yeah,
Because you just kind of like get to curate the exact things you want to watch.
totally. So what is it? What attracted to you about video? You've sort of started doing it only a bit more recently, but yeah, what was your take on it?
Well, like since we've been together and like even before we started Worker Bee, but you were just doing your own video projects, I was always kind of there in the background to assist and help. And that was always just like a really fun experience. But I think also being in the wedding world, I was photographing weddings, but once in a while you would get to do a wedding alongside a videographer or a videography team. And at one of the weddings I shot there, I got to work alongside a really talented couple who do wedding videos. And in that wedding, they were actually
Outside in studio?
Yep. And they're awesome, Rick and Vic. And during that wedding, they actually were doing like a day of edit. So they showed a video during the reception that was, a little bit of kind of when we were shooting portraits, a little bit of the ceremony, the getting ready, basically like the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And we got to see that later that night. And their work is always so beautiful, and like they tell such like really wonderful stories. So to see the comparison of what they were capturing in video and knowing what I had shot of like still images earlier in the day was just really fascinating to me. And I was just like, I love the ability to share these like moving images and tell this story through moving images rather than just a single photo. And like I just love the idea of movement. I love being able to see expressions change and like laughter and smiles and conversation. Just to be able to capture that just really started to entice me. And so I just admired that. And then our video projects started to grow, and maybe I was like on a second camera. So mostly just kind of, watching, making sure everything was recording and everything. But I've done a little bit of my own filming, like on this channel, like filming my desk tour. That was mostly me, but I just wanted to become like a bit more hands-on, and editing was something that I just wanted to try for years and years. And I created a whole video about it. You can watch it right up here. It's a journey, but it's a good one. And I think also just in the past year, with a lot of my event photography being obviously canceled, it's just opened up this whole new world for me to really like dive in and put my new video editing skills to the test.
Yeah, no. So maybe let's chat a bit about why someone should do it in terms of like a creator themselves. I think for me, the first time I really started doing video commercially, I was actually brought on to do the video portion of a photo shoot, a food shoot for a magazine.
Yeah.
And they had a food photographer, and then because I had done kind of like online videos, they brought me on to do the video portion of it. And this was like an ongoing series. And essentially after the first time, they asked me if I could do both the photo and video and kind of like get both those rates. And we did that for a while. We actually did a lot of them together.
Yeah, that was really fun, trying the food afterward.
And I think that's like one of the main reasons to get into video is to like try the food. No, is
Yes.
you become a lot more hireable.
Yeah.
So oftentimes these called like hybrid jobs where there's both a photo and video component. Like, yeah, they could hire both people, but if like one person can do both really well, they're like way more likely to get hired for that job. And don't think that they're getting like, half the budget. They're getting paid both those budgets still. But from a client's perspective, they have a lot less communication to do, a lot less paperwork to do on finance. The one person they have to trust and kind of like put their faith in on the project. So you become eligible for a lot more jobs. And then some jobs have a video component and they just won't hire like multiple people. So if you can't shoot video, you won't get hired for the photography. So I think one of the largest benefits is that, you will become eligible for more jobs. And then also you will, when quoting on a type of job, you will be more likely to get picked for that job for that reason. So that's like the number one thing, I think. Another element is just frankly, you can charge more for videos, right? You can there's a lot more parts of the process, and it's a lot more, there's the kind of fake statement of everyone's a photographer, which definitely does not, negate professional photographers at all. But a lot of people think they know things about photography, but video still kind of has that magic look.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what when
Yeah.
you talk about weddings, right? You see those moving pictures, even just seeing how people react to it, you're kind of like, oh man, I want to create that feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think with photography, it's I don't know. Depends on what you like. Because when you see a single photo, you can kind of extract from that a feeling or maybe what was happening in that moment. But I think and that can be emotional, but I think you can have a more instant emotional reaction to a video.
Yeah.
It's just being laid out for you there.
And you can kind of there's more ways to manipulate people's emotions.
Exactly,
within
because
it.
that's what I was about to mention. You can add a layer of music in.
Yeah.
And just depending on if it's a sweet, very cinematic, maybe there's strings or piano that can have this lovely softness to it, or you can have something that's more rock or electronic or R&B, and that's going to provide a much different feeling.
Yeah. So I think another reason to get into video is you probably, as a photographer at least, have 75 to 90% of the equipment you need to do video. Pretty much every camera these days, every photo camera shoots video. And that's really all you need to get started. The kind of couple extra elements that you would need to pick up are probably just at absolute baseline would be some audio, like a microphone or something. But honestly, if you're shooting an event and you're just doing B-roll, you don't even need that. You can just literally shoot it with what you have. So there's a very low barrier to entry for photographers for shooting video.
I'm glad you mentioned the mic thing though, because I don't think that's something you can necessarily pick up on right away until you hear the difference.
Yeah.
An actual good proper mic on top of your camera rather than just the mic that's internally in there.
Those are just some of the reasons that you should consider getting into video. It's also, I think, allows, at least I think both of us, we love playing with music and pacing. So just being able to just choose those things and participate in music production at some level is really nice and fun.
Yes. And I think I'm excited now that I've learned the basics, and there's still so much more I could learn within Premiere. You keep telling me to figure out my the shortcut keys. Just seeing the different effects that you're doing, and nothing in After Effects. It doesn't have to get that fancy,
Yeah.
but I'm eager to learn more and maybe get some plugins and play with that. Learn how to level music more or work with speed ramps, which I actually have been starting to learn a bit more without your help. I'm trying to commit that to memory. So it's just such an exciting medium to participate in. So. And I have ideas of things I could pursue with it, but with that I would have to learn a bit more video, actually filming. But that's not too hard either.
So I guess the final point is that it gives you a lot more flexibility as a working creative. If you only, for example, if Becca only did photography and event photography especially, literally would have no work right now. But because she took the time to learn video, she's been able to keep doing work and now has a whole other career path opportunity.
Yeah, I have my own little portfolio now, even after just a few months, and we've been able to kind of double our output because you're working on more of the advanced technical videos, and I'm kind of working on more just something that's a bunch of B-roll cut together, but is really fun and playful still, or emotional.
So some of the things we talked about with the classes is beyond this is what is the first what are the gear, going through the different types of gear. There are some differences between photo gear and video gear. How to approach a shoot and what to look for. What are the types of jobs you shoot. Particularly how we made our transition into actually getting commercial work. So if you're interested in any of those topics, drop us a comment down below about which one you want to hear about next. And we can definitely work it into the next one of these or make a video just for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that's, we're done in the deep end.
Oh, okay. We're clambering back up.
Unless you got anything else to add.
No, just like make sure you have a good computer for video editing.
Yes.
That's what I'm learning.
Although, you know, I think you can get by also doing certain things like proxy footage and stuff. But obviously, faster computers are always nicer.
All right, so we're back on shore, and it's time for part 3.
Zing zap!
Zing zap.
This is our sort of like...
Speed round, icebreaker questions. I've created a series of questions. They're all in a magical bag down here below, and Eugene doesn't know what they are, and they're just kind of quick questions. Some of them are more personal and more in depth or like deep and emotional, and some of them are just fun and playful. So yeah, hopefully it's just an opportunity for you guys to get to know us like a little bit more. And if you have any questions you want to add to the Zing Zap bag for the next video, please drop them in the comments below and we will include them.
Or if you want to keep it private, DM us on Instagram. We're at WorkerBeeSupply.
Yeah.
Always happy to have you there.
Yeah.
But without further ado, we have our trusty camera bag here.
We're so nerdy.
Let's have a look at what's inside.
All right.
Do 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 do. Should we put like 5 minutes on the clock? Just to keep
Sure.
it zing zappy?
Sure.
All right, 5-minute timer and
Let's
action.
make it happen.
All right, so why don't you grab a question?
Okay. Okay, I got one.
All right, and then
All right.
let's go. The first question is...
Zing Zap. Oh, interesting. What's the best age?
Oh, the best age. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it always seems to be, like, personally, the age I am
Yeah.
at the moment.
I mean, we can't really go forward. We haven't experienced anything above
83
early.
is where it's at.
When you're, yeah. I was thinking about this, and I think like just kind of like throughout your 20s is like such an interesting like transition period, because maybe you went to college or university, or you're starting your first career, and you've transitioned out of like your first part-time job or something, and you're just going to be like meeting such a copious amount of like new people. And maybe you've moved to a new city, maybe you have, you know, some extra money, you can start buying things, because we all know as an adult you can just do whatever you want. So I think the 20s is, though it comes with like its own challenges, it's kind of like opening the doors to like you being an adult, which is really fun.
Yeah, I guess I've always kind of felt like for a long time now, like my life hasn't really changed much in like in terms of my own personality and things. But just like as we get older, we get like increasingly more exciting opportunities, you know, adventures, and really just like more sure of what we want to do. So for a long time, I was like, oh, I can't wait till I like get older. I have an older brother, so it's always been like, oh, I want to be like his age, his age. But then at a certain point, I'm just like, actually like, hey, I just like being my age now. And you realize you're like, oh, life has started and you should enjoy it. So yeah, for me, it would have to be whatever age I am right now.
Sneaky. All right.
Whoop. Back in we go.
Do you want to pick this one?
Yeah, I'll grab this one.
Okay.
All right. What's something you could eat for a week straight? One word answer.
Fries. I love fries.
I mean, this is kind of like an obvious answer. I would do pizza probably.
Yeah.
A, it's got like all the ingredients in it. And then B, it's delicious. So
I know. I couldn't go like boring and healthy. So fries are one of my favorite foods. So it's got to be that. Really good ones. Ooh. Okay. What's something you didn't like or weren't into 10 years ago, but you enjoy now?
I don't know if it was exactly 10 years ago,
Yeah, it can be like arbitrary.
but I think like for me, a big thing was coffee.
Oh,
Like I like growing up, like and through university, I didn't really drink coffee like at all. And it was just working at this like one company where we just like hang out. We had a small coffee machine, so and it was like a thing of like learning how to use it. And now I love coffee. Like I have it every day. I make my own. We get like fun coffees from different places when we travel. We like seek out coffee shops. So for me, I think I'll do coffee.
Okay. I've been thinking about this lately, and I think for me, it's gonna be like pop music. Because as we were younger, you know, like we were kids in the 90s, so like Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, all those bands that came out in the 90s were like a huge part of our lives.
Free Britney.
Free Britney. Hashtag. And then, you know, as I like entered high school, especially kind of when I was 16 and older, I got really into like indie music. Like I was such a stereotypical like indie kid. I also really liked some like hip hop. And I remember like when Carly Rae Jepsen's like Call Me Maybe came out in 2012, I believe, I was just like, ugh, eye roll. Like this is like so lame. Like how could anyone like this song? It's so silly. But I don't know. And then in 2017, thanks to a podcast, I just gave Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion album a try, and I like absolutely love her now, and her music's so much fun. And I've kind of come to the conclusion lately.
Haven't you been to a concert now?
Yes, enter that right here. And I've kind of just decided that, you know, now that I'm like 31, gonna be 32, it really doesn't matter what music you listen to. It's just like whatever makes you feel good. And like if you need something comforting, listen to something comforting. If you want something that's gonna give you energy and joy or just keep you going through, you know, editing that photo project, just like listen to that. Like I've really been enjoying Taylor Swift's Folklore album, and I was not a Swiftie before that. And I just like don't care anymore. And sharing that with friends and just like learning about their experiences and you know, knowing that they really enjoy certain artists too is so like awesome and comforting. And just put that out there because I don't know, that's what I really just tried to embrace.
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life. And you know, it's not lame to like things. So yeah.
So why don't we do one more?
Yeah, I
and
think
then
so.
Then that'll be that.
I really enjoy this portion. It's fun.
Think this one's I pick?
Yes.
All right. What interests do we not share? Interesting. I feel like a lot of our interests do like overlap a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think you play video games like very regularly, and it's not that I dislike them. Like I'll even watch you play.
And sometimes we'll play together.
Yeah. Oh my God. We should play Sonic.
Yeah.
But it's not something I do like actively myself.
Yeah.
In terms of me, I definitely enjoy cooking more than you do.
Yeah.
And
which I've tried, and I mean I do cook a lot.
And sometimes we cook meals together, which is great.
But it's just like
it's like more of a struggle for you.
I don't get like a lot of pleasure out of it.
Yeah. Outside of that, any other interests? We've been very fortunate to kind of like develop interests separately, but then have each other get into it. Like I've like really re-embraced Disney and going to the Disney parks as an adult, and you didn't have that like relationship to it as much when you were a kid, but you've really come on board, and we have so much fun doing that together. And then on the flip side, you got into Formula One before I did, and I was like, race cars, yawn, but that was like really dumb, and I gave it a chance. And you know, through Drive to Survive on Netflix, which we love and so many people love, we really enjoy watching races now, and we get so excited, and we want to plan trips around seeing races. So
the other thing I can think of is like I do some like have been doing more like woodworking and just like building things, which you don't really do, and I watch a lot of stuff around that, which often you don't watch. I know there's some overlap. But I think, like kind of like tinkering with like physical things and like building things like that. Is something I've been spending a lot of time over the last couple of years.
Sort of exploring and like getting deeper into, Though I did take wood shop in high school, and I didn't. I built some pretty cool things. And I won the tech award when I graduated, so how about that? I got $50. But I think we're very fortunate to share a lot of interests. But we're also very encouraging to each other to explore what we want to explore. So,
and even it's funny because I like a lot of couples, I feel like have very clear lines, and like even if one of us isn't like 100% obsessed with the other thing, like we're very open to like going to an event or watching something or like, you know.
I'm trying to think
so. Yeah, I think we're lucky to kind of, even if we don't particularly share the interest together, we definitely can enjoy it together. And often the more you learn about something, the more you get interested in it. So to be honest, I feel like a lot of people who are like not into things, especially things that are just like consuming something, they just haven't spent enough time exploring it.
Yeah.
But
It's like olives, you know? I didn't like them at first, but the
hate
more I've
olives.
tried them,
That's
they're
it.
not so bad.
that's a thing that we don't share.
Yeah.
Hard to call it an
The
interest.
olive interest.
Well, maybe you can throw me an olive branch.
I think we're done here.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this studio update.
Wait.
Yes, Eugene, what is it?
I forgot.
Is there an interest?
We reached 1,000 subscribers.
Oh my goodness.
Not long ago.
Yes.
So thank you so much. We haven't like talked about
we
it.
acknowledged it.
But man, this has been so exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined us in the past year. You literally helped grow our channel to double the amount of subscribers that we did in March 2020. That we had in March 2020. And it's been just so amazing to have your support and to read all your comments and engage with you online. So please, if you're enjoying this channel, share it with someone who you think needs like a little creative encouragement, or maybe is just new to the creative world and doesn't know how to get started. We are more than willing to help and, show that you don't have to be perfect at everything right off the bat. That's something I've been really trying to embrace in the past year. Come on board, but thank you so much to everyone who has joined us so far.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's meant so much to me, all your comments, like Becca said. If you are watching this video for the first time and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? You're keeping our numbers low.
Yeah, come on, man.
So hit that subscribe button, hit that like. If you're like really obsessed with us,
Ring that bell.
ding, ding, ding. And other than that, we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
Bye.
Cute.
Boom.
Super fun.